I'm Mike from St. Thomas Economic Development, here with another little update from Element5. Today I'm at Element5 in St. Thomas, and I'm joined by Patrick. Patrick, tell us what your role is at Element5, and tell us a bit about Element5.
Good morning. Happy to have you here. So I'm the president and CEO of Element5, and Element5 is a producer of mass timber structural components for mid-rise buildings. So between 4 and 12 stories is kind of the sweet spot. But yeah, so we get involved at the paper napkin stage with designers and architects and owners through the full engineering process, and then produce the components in this factory, and then oversee the construction of the building on the construction site.
So you can get up to 12 stories of height with the wood products that you make here. That's impressive.
Yeah, actually the building code in Ontario is 12, but there's buildings out there which are built according to an engineering approval solution, what's called alternative solutions, that are approaching over 20 stories these days. So yeah, the structural capability of the material is such that you can build much higher than 12, but the code right now in Ontario is not quite that high yet.
Wow. Now, when I pulled up today, I noticed a little bit of earth being moved out beside your building. What's going on outside here?
Yeah, exciting times for us. So 5 years ago, this was a greenfield site. We got going and built a factory. We decided that we were an engineering and sales company, so procuring all the components from European producers, but doing engineering and sales. The decision was made to install the production capacity in North America to be a real player in the market. So we built this factory 2019, 2020. We're up and running, and here we produce CLT primarily, a little bit of glulam, which is CLT is large panels and glulam are large beams. We knew that always we would have to start producing our own glulam at some point. And so phase 1 was getting this plant up and running, producing primarily CLT. Phase 2 is to install exactly what you see here, full hull, but producing glulam now. So we'll be more than double our physical manufacturing floor space when it's all is said and done with a full glulam line. So engineering, CLT production, glulam production, so we can provide a total solution to the North American market.
That's amazing. Looking around, it looks like there's products at all stages in the process here. What does the material look like when it comes in, and then what processes do you have to do to get it to these beautiful laminate sheets?
Yeah, so our starting point is what you call dimensional lumber. You go to a Home Depot, the lumber you see there, that's quite literally what we start with. Most of the material we start with a 2x6, so the input is 2x6 lumber that we get from the marketplace. And then we have to condition that lumber. That lumber comes in at a certain moisture content. We have to bring that moisture content down to a controlled target level so that the quality of bonding and the quality of the ultimate product is achieved. And so that lumber then gets conditioned to achieve that target moisture content. And then we organize that lumber into an automated line that ultimately takes layers of that lumber, lays it up in a press, glues it, lays it up in a press, and you end up with what we call a big billet. So that press is able to produce panels up to 3 meters by 16 meters, so quite a large panel. So that's the billet coming out of the press, and then all the features of that billet, so the jointery on the construction site can be achieved, or windows and door cutouts, all that kind of stuff. They go on into CNC machining, large gantry 5-axis CNC machines, so we can precisely machine all the features of the final product. And then a significant part of what we do as well is the logistics to the construction site, the time of construction with what we call in-factory construction here. The advantage is that if you can organize logistics well, then you can shorten dramatically the actual site construction time. So yeah, lumber, conditioning, billets, CNC, and then logistics for construction.
Wow. And there's a lot of product sitting here. Where's all this stuff going? What's the kind of reach of Element5?
Yeah, when we first started, the Ontario market was kind of the starting point. There was enough interest and demand and know-how in the marketplace, in the construction marketplace in Ontario. So that's how we got started. Lots of really good projects in Ontario, in the Toronto-based area. Now, the majority of our sales actually goes into the US, and we think that will continue to be the majority of our business. The North American market as a whole is The mass timber market is growing significantly. There's a lot of interest. All the value proposition that constructing out of mass timber brings is really caught on. And so, yeah, into the U.S., we have projects all over the northeastern U.S., Midwest. The geography is relevant because it's big, heavy stuff, so it's expensive to ship. So, radius around our plant is kind of our geographic focus. Although, we have some projects on the West Coast and some in different spots for different economic reasons, but primarily within a radius of the factory.
Okay. And then something I'm curious to know is, what are the advantages for a builder to use products like these? Like, I see the advantage of speed, so in terms of you being able to kind of deliver it as they need it. But what are the other advantages of building structures out of wood?
Yeah, so there's two components to that, as you said, speed being one of them. So in-factory construction allows us to build a Lego kit of material, get it on a truck in absolutely the right order in which it's needed to be erected on the construction site. So that in-factory construction, I have pieces ready to go, so I'm no longer doing construction on the site, I'm assembling on the site. So speed of construction is by far one of the most significant advantages. Then you have the environmental advantage that in the marketplace, the value proposition around doing the right thing for the environment. If you think about trees being a natural mechanism to harvest carbon out of the atmosphere, and if you believe in properly managed forest practices, which we do and we are part of, then you're cutting down trees which have extracted carbon from the atmosphere. Then you're converting them into these beautiful construction components and ultimately parking them in a building effectively permanently. So that environmental story of taking carbon out of the atmosphere through this elegant natural process and parking it in buildings is kind of the environmental story, which is a significant factor in the developer's investment in constructing with mass timber versus steel and concrete.
Yeah, steel, concrete, definitely very carbon intensive, and wood much less so, and the sequestration makes a big difference. So
yeah, absolutely.
That's great. How long do you think it'll be until you're delivering these products on an EV or hydrogen-powered transport truck?
That remains to be seen. That's not my area of expertise, so I'll pass on that question.
Sounds good. Well, listen, thanks for chatting with us today. It's great to hear about this project and learn a bit more about Element5. And once this new building's up and running, ready to go, let us know. We'd love to be here for the ribbon cutting, and we'll help you kick her off.
Come back and see us. It's going to be an exciting time for us. Yeah. Thank you.
Well, thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Like and subscribe on YouTube for another little update coming soon.